Hi YouTube, it's Catherine Michelle. I really want to thank those of you who are asking questions and leaving comments about this coronavirus. Although oftentimes we may not agree or see eye to eye, I really appreciate the fact that there's dialogue going, comments being made, thoughts being put out there. I think we learn from each other, and so I see that as a good thing. I want to address something though that I've seen quite a bit, and that is just lately, and I don't know if she wants her name said, but she left a comment this last time of Virginia is for lovers, or at Virginia is for lovers. And she's not the she, I don't know who this is. This person has made the comment, and a lot of people said this a lot at first, like on how on the back of a Lysol can it says Lysol kills coronavirus. And unfortunately, with the media, and no, I don't trust them. What's it, Crypt Rick? At Crypt Rick. It's been great talking to you today anyway. Thank you. I like how you think and what you're saying. But back to the Lysol can. I'm not sure. See, I lost my train of thought. Jeez. It's frustrating. But anyway, how it'll say, Lysol will kill the coronavirus. However, coronavirus is the family of viruses. It is not a virus. It is not this. It's just like the top of the chain. And then from there, other viruses then mutate off of that or are created from that particular virus family. Coronavirus is just any virus that has the little protrusions that they call crowns on the outside of it, which then distinguishes it from another type of virus. So like examples of coronaviruses are like the flu, and the flu, as you know, has multiple strains in and of itself. So, type A is different from type B, etc., etc. So you have all the flus. You have things like SARS and MERS, and now COVID-19, which comes from the SARS family of coronaviruses. So that's why they call it SARS-CoV-2. It's not the same as SARS, but it comes from that family of coronaviruses. Coronavirus, SARS, SARS-CoV-2. You're following all these lines. So they're not all the same. They're not all equal. And it is true that for a lot of these types of viruses, soap and water really work best because there's that fatty aspect, that fat within the soaps that actually will help and break down the outer covering or the envelope of the virus, which is better than oftentimes say something like rubbing alcohol. You know what I mean? Not drinking alcohol. But, there are better ways to inactivate and destroy a virus. And all of that is true. But SARS-CoV-2, aka COVID-19, has not been around for decades and years, and from whenever, the Lysol can decided to put that on the back of it. So let's not confuse that. And also, I really want to clarify this one thing too, because I don't really state how I think about this and where I see this going for a lot of reasons. The main reason is because I'm watching. I do not believe mainstream media. I want to clarify this right now. I don't believe their numbers at all. And oftentimes I've been seeing people who think that the numbers aren't as bad as mainstream media is putting them up to be. I'm on the opposite end. I think they're far worse. I don't believe the vast majority of the countries who are reporting numbers for lots of reasons. And like I explained in a previous video, you can't trust China. China's numbers were a lie, and it was obviously were a lie from the beginning because, when they were only just working up to I think they had just a few thousand cases by that point and 200 dead, according to them. And yet their doctors and nurses are passing out on the job from working nonstop. You have nurses hysterical and breaking down in their break room because they can't take it anymore. China is ordering 20 new crematoriums, and they have 49 mortuaries, but yet they're ordering in 20 more crematoriums for only 200 dead. And when you have 49, divide that by 200. Okay, see, none of that makes sense. And now we're beginning to see the proof that their numbers were a lie by how many urns are being brought in by the truckloads. So for one particular funeral home, there were 6,500, and they have 8 funeral homes. So if only one had 6,500 in just 2 days delivered, come on, we know it's all a lie. The numbers are far, far worse. And a lot of people too don't seem to understand the veracity of some viruses. They're horrible. They spread like wildfire. This is something that I guess, like I said before, our human anatomy and physiology professor was telling us way back in, when did I take his class? Early to mid 90s? Ugh, it's been so long, I can't remember. But he was saying, he's like, you guys do understand that you are probably going to face something really bad one day. And it's going to be awful. So why do you people want to even be a nurse? And so for someone like me, and I know I'm not alone, but someone like me seeing this, it's been expected. It's something you wait for. And you pray to God it doesn't happen in your lifetime, but here it has. So it's kind of like, we saw it coming, and we were kind of sort of prepared, where the average person, it comes as such a big shock because it's so overwhelming that it's like, this can't be real. Well, it is real, and this is happening. I was also telling Crypt Rick, and again, I really want to say thank you. He's been amazing, really good. Thank you. I enjoy our conversations. But I know someone, and I'm like going, because I saw a video where I think someone was going around New York, and they were going to hospitals, and they were saying they couldn't find proof of anybody being in the hospital. I wish I could find that. If anybody knows where that link is, because I've tried to find it, and I think I keep putting in the wrong things in the search engine, but I can't find it. But I would really love to see that. And I'm like, okay, that's a great idea, I think we all should be doing that. Somebody should be going around their community and checking their local hospitals. I think that's probably the best way to get real figures, right? And so I'm like, running off of what this person did, I said, okay, where I'm at here in Colorado, I know nurses that actually work throughout the state. So I contacted someone I know. They're not here in the same city I am. They're in a whole different city. And I said, okay, hey, we see what's going on. We see the numbers that are being told to us by, our own governor and our own statistics. Do you guys really have cases? And if so, is it as bad as they're saying? And, what is your take? And what can I report on this? And they told me, they said they had cases. For the amount of cases that our state had at the time I spoke with them, their hospital had about a third of them. And there are a lot of hospitals in our state. So they had quite a few. And I said, oh, okay. I wasn't expecting that big of a number for this one hospital. And I said, okay, so are you taking this seriously? What is your take on this whole virus? And they said, absolutely. They have a tent they change into in their garage. They take their, get undressed in this tent. They put their clothes straight into the washer, wash their clothes right away, take a shower, then come back and disinfect everything they touched in between. And this is someone who doesn't even work. They're like the head of that department. They're not even hands-on with patients. And this is what they do. So I said, oh, okay, so you are taking this serious. And they said, absolutely. They said without a doubt it's taken very seriously, at least where they are. And yes, they do have patients and they are sick, and that aspect is kind of scary. Now you're hearing this, from people who work in this medical field, who see death every day. Someone dying isn't a big surprise, and dying from multiple things and different things. But when you have something like the SARS-CoV-2 causing this type of apprehension in people who work in the medical field, again, I pay attention to what's going on. I don't listen to the news. I talk to people I know. I look at what's happening. I see how they are responding. And I will tell you, if you have never had to dress in full hazmat gear, you might not understand. It's uncomfortable, it's hot, it's miserable. I've only had to do that just very few times when I was an EMT, just I think twice. I think only twice. I know 2 times for sure. But that was more than enough for me. And that's not something that I would choose to do to try to trick the masses. Medical people are too busy to try to be part of a scheme to fool the masses. And so when you see medical staff in this gear that is extremely uncomfortable and hot and you sweat, and then you're like, oh, jeepers, okay, did I get my mask wet? Am I sweating too much inside? Because if your mask gets wet, it's no longer good. You've got to get it dried out, which means you need to find another, which then means you have to ungown, which means you need a whole new outfit, which means you have to start all over. We don't want to do that. Nobody wants to do that. And so, again, pay attention to what your medical people are doing. Watch them. Forget the mainstream media. Forget every news outlet you see. But pay attention to how you see the people who are on what they're calling the front lines. How are they behaving? And that will tell you how serious this really is. And that's what I'm going by. So I do not trust mainstream media. I don't listen to their numbers. In fact, I think they are underreporting by a long shot. I think right now it's all about a political agenda straight across the board. When I have listened to, I don't even know what news stations they are, but when they're making jabs and making it about a political statement, and it's that undertone in this wording, they're going to cut down on the president. And I am not saying I'm a Trump supporter. I'm talking about, this is strictly political right now from everybody's angle. But when they're taking jabs out of a president before they go on to talk about what they're calling a statistic and a real number about a COVID-19 case or hospital, I just turn them off. I have no time for that, because that tells you right there, their motive is not to report to anybody what is really happening. Their motive is to take a jab at a Republican or the president, or to, up boost somebody else. And it's like, something in a situation like this with this type of pandemic, we don't have time for that. It's ridiculous. So anyway, to summarize, I don't trust mainstream media. I don't care what mainstream media has to say. I do believe that this could be leading towards something very nefarious. Do I pray that doesn't happen? Every day. But the writing's on the wall, So do we need to be prepared? Yeah. Unfortunately, the way I look at this, and it's a comment I've made and people haven't understood, so maybe this might help people understand. I see the COVID-19 being the same as the Twin Towers. They had to use a very real event that killed a lot of people to get their agenda done. They are using a very real virus that I believe, and I could be wrong and it may be proven wrong later, but I don't think so. They're using a very real virus that I believe was created Whether or not it was let loose at this stage, how this is taken off, it had to have been released on purpose. How else could it have? I don't know. I guess there are lots of other ways. My take could be wrong. I believe it was created. I believe it was released on purpose. I believe that purpose was nefarious. And I believe that, like the Twin Towers, they had to release something very real that was going to kill a lot of people, that was going to cause the entire world to have to be in the very same situation. You can't do that with a fake virus. Too many people would know. Hospital staff wouldn't be dressing up. You know what I mean? In full hazmat gear. You wouldn't see what you're seeing now if this was fake. There are far too many countries, far too many hospitals, far too many medical workers, and they're all saying the same thing for this to be fake. And so, again, they used the Twin Towers. They brought them down, killed a lot of people, duped a lot of people to get their agenda done. They're using a very real virus to kill a lot of people, to hurt a lot of people, to get their agenda done. That's how I see it. I'm not fooled. I don't have blinders on. But I don't want to say that, and I don't like to spout that, because where's that going to get us? I don't know. I don't know. I'm just watching. And I watch, a lot of different things. I pay attention to a lot of different things. And I won't speak generally until I know a little bit more. If I'm a little bit more sure and it's leaning more one way or another, that is when I'll come out and I'll say something. But until then, my lips are sealed generally. So please, those who wonder, yeah, like with the Crowley case, I did a lot of research on that. I still read up on that case every day. I may not be covering it, but I still read up on it, and I still go back over. And to this day, it makes me angry what happened to that family, and how nobody, in the sense of nobody, I'm talking about the government, local governments, local police station, those who actually slaughtered this family don't care at all. They don't care at all. In fact, they probably feel they got rid of a wart on society. That's how I see them seeing the Crowley family. So, I do my research, and phone calls everywhere. Sorry about all that. The other phone will hang up in a minute. But, please know that I don't just put stuff out there. I don't just spout something. I will look it up and spend time reading about it quite a bit. I have been following this for a long time before I even did the first video, because I wanted to wait. I have to say that I was on board of the bandwagon of, oh, this is just a joke, this is all just a ploy, blah, 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 until I spoke with someone who had firsthand knowledge. And then when someone I know came down with the virus and they're still fighting it 4 weeks later, that's when I really said, uh-oh, I think my attitude is wrong. I need to really research this more. And I did. And what I have found is scary. So please, everybody, just be safe. Take care of yourself. Do the old wash your hands. Don't touch surfaces. Touch your face. Don't go out unless you have to. This is only for a certain period of time. This should not go on for months and months and months. So when I hear that rumbling, that's got my antenna going up. Could we be facing a second phase of this? Yeah, second wave, third wave, fourth wave. Yeah, we absolutely could. But to keep everybody locked down for that entire time, for me personally, I don't think that's necessary. I think for this certain period of time, for at least 2 to 3 weeks, yes, absolutely. If people will listen, if people will keep their distance, that will help that virus that's out there right now, that's really landed everywhere, to deactivate, to become inactive. So it will be safer for the vast majority of people to go back out and get back to life. Now, if that's what begins to happen, then I can kind of, calm down. But right now, my senses are really high and they're really peaked, like a lot of you. So let's not lose that edge. Stay on your toes, but be safe. And for at least now, let's try to get this virus kicked in the butt.